we go. Fixing to run a little bit on stream here. Do something little Bob Rossi kind of stuff today to kind of make the video a little shorter. I've gone ahead and put some liquid white on this canvas. And I've got on my palette over here, right now, we've got some phthalo blue and some alizarin crimson and some sap green. We'll slap a little white over here too, a little titanium white. And that ought to be enough to get us started. We might add some more things as we go, but we'll see. All right. All right, let's get started. So let's start off. I didn't pull my paint out flat. Makes it a lot easier to pull hold your brush if you flatten your paints. I'm using a new phthalo blue today, so we'll see how that does, how that goes. All right, here we go. That'll get started. All right, let's start off with a little bit of alizarin crimson. We're just going to put some of that up here in the sky. My elbow is a little stiff today. We'll kind of make a nice little pink up here. This alizarin crimson's mixing with the liquid white. All right, that'll be good enough. All right, let's clean the brush. Just using odorless paint thinner. Just like Bob. Been doing it for, what, 5 years now, so I probably can stop saying it just like Bob, but just like myself, I reckon. All right, let's pick up another 1-inch brush and let that one dry out a little bit. Let's pick up another 1-inch brush and let's pick up some phthalo blue, and maybe a little bit of red, a little bit of crimson. Kind of making a lavender color. Now you can test that color out, kind of put it up there. It's a little too blue. All right, so phthalo blue is a really strong pigment, really strong. So I'm just going to put this over here for now. You can see that it's a little reddish blue compared to that, but it's not what I'm looking for. All right, let's try this. Let's just wipe it off with a knife here. Let's try it over here. Yeah, that's a little more purpley. It's a little bitter. All right, that blue. That is a new phthalo. It is blue. It is it's got heavy pigment in it. So I'm going to leave some spots in here. I just want to kind of play this around the canvas. Corners can be darker. That's fine. I don't care about that part. All right. Let's clean that brush. Might also have something to do with these are brand new brushes. I might pick that pigment up a little better, but I think it just, like Grumbacher paint's really got a lot of pigment in it. All right, so I'm going to switch to a 2-inch brush to do this blending. I'm going to start here in the middle. We're just going to kind of, now once we get into the dark, we're not going to come back. So once we get over to that blue, we're just kind of pulling the brush strokes out at this point. Now we're about to start blending a little bit. Last year I've kind of taken a break off from doing these landscapes, but kind of getting back to it now. All right, let's clean this brush. We'll switch over to another 2-inch brush here in a second. I just got a little brush scrubbing thing here in a trash can, a plastic bag in it, so it keeps the fumes down a little bit. So I want to kind of get these colors where they're kind of one, you can't tell when one starts and the other one stops. There's one thing to work on, is your blending. Make sure if you get your blending down pat, man, the rest of it gets a lot easier. Gets a lot easier. All right, now clean this brush. We're going to blend it one more time. I've been working on portraiture of late. Just some other sidebar things, and I don't think I'll stop doing that. As far as volume of paintings I've been putting out lately, I haven't put out as many paintings, and so something I've always set for myself, and something I'm not likely to stop setting for myself, so I'll catch that up. All right, now clean this brush one more time. I'm going to switch back to a 1-inch brush for a second, or a little bit. This will work. That's not going to do what I want it to do either. It's not quite working out. Let's get this mop. I don't usually use a mop, but I will in this case. I just want to lightly take some of this brush stroke stuff out. Here's my little mop. I'm not too worried about this over here because we're going to come right back with some mountains in here in a minute. Some of you might wonder what this brush is. It's just a mop. Okay, then we'll go back to the 2-inch brush. This is the hardest brush for me to clean. I don't know why. I don't use it in landscapes all that often, but it's always caused me a pain. All right, that'll do. All right. I'm going to keep that 2-inch brush. I don't think I'll use that some more today. I usually use a 1-inch brush almost exclusively, but I think I could use the 2-inch brush in this today. So let's start off with, well, let's put some mountains in here. Let's get, where's my knife? That's an older knife. Where's the little knife? It's probably on the other side of the table. Oh well, that's okay. I'll use this one. All right, so we got some Lizard Crimson and some of this blue. We'll use some of this stuff up we used earlier too. A little more blue than that, maybe. A little more blue. All right, that looks pretty good. All right, let's just cut us up a roll of that. Want a nice sharp edge on this. All right, good enough. All right, let's clean this knife and put it away. We won't need it. We might use it a little bit more here in a minute. But first, before we do that, let's get a 1-inch brush here. Let's just kind of be careful when you're doing your mountains that you don't get too steep. I mean, mountains are relatively steep, but don't get too steep. All right. Wow, that blue's super powerful. It's okay. It's okay. Main thing is don't mess up that edge. You want your edge to stay nice and sharp. All right, now let's take the 1-inch brush. See, I pull all that down into that. All right, let's clean a couple brushes here real quick. I don't want all that blue in there. So let's just clean this brush up real quick. Actually, let's just kind of see that blue down here. That'd be fine. Right. Let's take a knife with a little bit of white. I do mean just a little bit of white, just a little bit of white. You guys can see there maybe. All right, and we're just gonna, these mountains are gonna be real far away. So we don't want, you can't see a lot of it. What's going on there? Have to scrub that in there. Okay. Now, let's just kind of put a little doodads up. All right. So I want to soften this up, push those mountains way on back in there. I'm not worried too much about this because we're going to paint stuff over that. It doesn't really. I was filling with it there, but just on the man, I'm already painting something there, so it doesn't matter. Alright. Let's pick up a little bit of white, I think. Let's try that. Yeah, a little bit more. And I think we'll keep painting with this brush here in a second. I want to do. I like all of that part. I want to do something with this part. I'm not satisfied with this. I want to do a little bit more with this mountain. So let me pick up some more of this dark over here. I'm just going to kind of. Add a little bit more dark this way. I want this mountain to be a little darker on this side. So I'm just adding some paint, is all I'm doing. We'll take a 1-inch brush really to kind of there we go. All right, I'm much happier with that. All right, now we can kind of. I'm going to set this Kevin L brush aside, and only because it seems like I haven't cleaned it well enough. It's a little stiff. Kevin's brushes don't get stiff really, so. All right, let's set that aside. Let's go back to the white brush, to the wide brush. Pick up a little bit more white. Now, I don't want to cover up everything that I just did. But I do want to kind of fuzz it out like that. Oh yeah, I like that much better. All right. Now let's go back to this same color. Let's add a little bit of white to this. So if you're looking at the palette, I'm going to add some white to this purplish red color that we added here. I think we could use a little more red. And we're going to need a little bit more alizarin crimson, it looks like. Let's add a little bit more white to that though, so I can really see the color. And still a little dark for what I want. So hang on, so let's skip alizarin crimson. And what we're going to do, I'm going to clean this knife off real quick. Clean this knife off. We'll take some of this color that we just made. We'll pull it over here because I want to make that even darker before I make it lighter again. But over here, we're going to pull this to the side. I think even still, well, we might can make it lighter on the canvas. I'll tell you what, let's add just a little bit more titanium white. The white's having some trouble overpowering that phthalo blue. I have to remember that next time I use a lot less blue. All right, but let's not get tied up in that. We're going to use the same 2-inch brush, and I'm just going to kind of tap the brush, just the corner of it. And we're going to kind of make some little foothills here. So let's start right about. Let's start right here. Yeah, that's. I think that's still too dark, so let's add some white to it. Little foothill, little foothill. And then let's clean this brush. A lot of cleaning in the brush in this episode, I guess. Maybe if I decide to paint this again, I won't have to clean the brush as much, but I'm not too worried about that. All right, make sure I got that brush pretty clean. That looks pretty good. All right, now we're just going to kind of tap, 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 tap all this out. Make it some more. Don't be afraid, you know, like, oh, I don't want to mess up the canvas because, or hurt the canvas because, you know, canvas is pretty tough. But be careful when you're doing this. You don't want to make like too much of a ridge line, you know, it's like a straight. Now just kind of lift it up. And get your trees in there. All right, let's pick a darker, let's take now let's add some dark. Now that we struggled in the dark. Actually though, you know, this, well, let's tell you, let's just add a little bit of this dark color back to this. You guys have heard me talk for a long time about my lack of palette discipline. Now you're getting to see it full time, full tilt, right? All right, same thing. A little more paint. I'm going to paint this again in a little while on using a 1-inch brush, and we might be able to get a little extra landscape in here. It's just because of I'm not used to using the 2-inch brush a lot. It's one of the things I wanted to do, so. Tell you what I do though, I do go through a lot more paint than they're using a 2-inch brush. Again, we get this mist put in here in between your scenes, in between your different layers. Now I'd like to get another layer in between this. I want to put some water here in the front, but I think I can squeeze it in, maybe. Let's get a little bit of, now let's use, I'm going to jump to a 1-inch brush for this, but let's take that same color, add a little bit of green to it, just a touch of green. Now you can do this with a fan brush or, you know, whatever. I just wanted to use some different brushes today. So you guys use whatever you want. It's your painting. Do what you want to do. Now these trees over here, I just painted them in here, but I'll probably paint right over them. The next row of trees. Now be careful that as you're going, you kind of don't make like a snake, looking snake kind of a thing. In other words, trying to break it up. You know, the wild is kind of wild, so you want to kind of let it be wild. At least when you run around my world, it is a little bit wild. If you're around like in a little painter girl's world, she's got boxes and butterflies and beetles and bumblebees. She's got a nice peaceful world over there. So if you haven't been to her channel, drop by. A grayscale painting. If you're an acrylic painter and you want to see some of that, go by and see those guys. All right, let's take a little bit of yellow ochre. I don't know how much of this I want. I may have to put some more on the canvas. We'll see in a second, I reckon. I'm not going to clean the brush, I don't think. I'm just going to scoop this paint up. Kind of maybe slap a little bit of green in there to it. Running out of real estate. That's okay. It's gonna be okay. All right. Let's take a fan brush. Let's not use that one. Let's use this little guy. Come here. Where are you? You have been drafted. Let's add a little bit of blue, a little bit of green. A little bit of blue, a little bit of green. Don't have the brush quite loaded the way I want it, so let's try it again. Now we're going to buzz the bottom of them out just a second. I want those guys to be set back. Actually, I think this one we're going to add a little bit of lighter color too. And I'll just leave that sit back there. Let's put another one in there. So we'll just kind of insinuate them being back there without poking them out too much. All right, now let's see. I think I'll put one on the other side with a little bit different type of leaf, like all right, that's good enough. And then let's put another one right here. All right, now let's push up just a few, right here on this mist. Push up a few bushes, just. And again, you can do this with whatever brush you're comfortable with. We're just pushing it up with a fan brush. All right. All right. Back to 1-inch brush, and let's pick up some blue. Let's pick up this blue first. Let's just kind of. Yeah, I don't know about that. Let's try it a little bit more. All right. And let's bring some stronger blue back over here. And we'll push that out into the lake here. You might say, what are you doing? You're messing up the shoreline. Yeah, a little bit. But I kind of want to, because I want to kind of bring this blue into the canvas. They look so pretty. And as we add the water lines and stuff, we'll straighten all this up. Look at all that straightened out. Well, there goes another one of my little doodads. I have to pick them up. I have to get on the floor and pick all this stuff up later. But I haven't quite taught Axel, that's my cat, to clean up after me yet. He's not too good at that. He's really good at some things, but that's not one of them. He's not good at cleaning up after me. Okay. All right, let's touch a few highlights here and there. Let's go back to the fan brush. I think I put a little few highlights on the trees. A little bit. Not a lot. Getting a lot of paint there, so we can't put. We could add some liquid white if we get stuck here and we can't get it to stick, but I think it'll stick. Of course, now that I said that, it probably won't stick, but I probably should have said that. Create some bushes here. A highlight brush. All right. Do a little bit more knife work. Let me wrap this up. Let's just pick up some sienna. So this is a burnt sienna, so it's kind of a pretty warm color, a little orangish, a little bit orangey brown. And we'll just pick up a knife here. Pick up a bead of that. That's a little too much. Pick up a bead of that. And we'll just kind of lay a bit of shoreline in here. Not a lot. I don't want a lot of shoreline. And of course, you know, you can create distance just by pushing that knife up into the trees there. A little more distance on them if you want. Where's that shoreline a little bit? And then push it back up that way. All right. Now I want to put a water line in there. And I'm out of white to go, of course. Of course we're out of white. Can't open that one. Let's try another one. I'll just put a little bit. I don't want to put it anywhere. Just put it right here. I'm almost done, so we'll just put it right there. I just need a little room for my knife. Now we are picking up some blue with this, and it's okay. It's all okay. Alright, let's add a couple of little water lines. Let's put one like right here. And maybe like a little bitty one right over here a little bit. And then we'll just smooth that out real quick with a brush. Now, you can leave this like that, and it'll look nice. It'll just look like the water's kind of moving a little faster maybe than what you might have originally thought. But push your knife down a little bit, rub that in. So you can make them sharp or not sharp, however, whatever's turned you on. All right, and with that, just like that, I think this painting's done. So, okay, guys, you probably don't need to hang around and watch me clean up, so go grab your own canvas. Get busy. Go on. That's all. That's the last of it. Bye, guys.